Professor M.R. Sahni, a renowned paleontologist from the Geological Survey of India and former president of the International Paleontological Association, the IPA, to promote paleontology and allied disciplines in India with headquarters at Lucknow. Professor M.R. Sahni was younger brother to Professor B.V. Sahni. The society is a corporate member of the International Paleontological Association and also a member of the Federation of Indian Geosciences Association, the FIGA. The society is instrumental in organization of scientific meetings, conferences, and field workshops on topics of contemporary issues in geology and paleontology. Its main activities are publication of the Journal of the Paleontological Society of India, field guidebooks, catalogs, monographs, atlas, special publications, etc. The Journal of the Paleontological Society of India is being published annually since 1956 and biannually since 2004, which is a peer-reviewed Scopus Index journal with citation index of 0.76. The volume 61 with its two parts was published in the year 2022. With this year, we are going online. The society organizes 3 lectures every year in the memory of its founder president, Professor M.R. Sahni, which is being organized since 1983, and also the founder members of the society, Professor R.C. Misra since 2013, and Professor S.N. Singh since 1995. The society awards 7 gold medals and awards instituted by benevolent grants or funds received through the families and friends of the fellows of the society. These medals and awards are given each year, except Professor S.N. Bhalla and Rajiv Nigam gold medals, which are awarded once in 2 years. The International Fossil Day, actually being a corporate member of the International Paleontological Association, the PSI initiated organizing the International Fossil Day, the IFD, in India since 2016 on October 16 to popularize the branch of fossils study, that is paleontology, in India. Since 2018, some universities and scientific institutions also joined organizing the IFD in India. From 2019 onwards, several student public university or regional chapters of the PSI and also some institutes in India are celebrating IFD in 3rd week of October as a International Fossil Week. We call it day also. The idea of celebrating the IFD has been conceived with the aim to spread the joy, fun, and interest in the life of the past. The society encourages museums, universities, and institutions to hold outreach activities with the involvement of students by delivery of lectures, visits to nearby
आपका ऑडियो बंद हो गया है
sir. Your audio, huh?
So could you
now it's okay, sir. Now it's okay.
I hope the idea of celebrating the IFD has been conceived with the aim to spread the joy, fun, and interest in the life of the past. The society encourages museums, universities, and institutions to hold outreach activities with the involvement of students by delivery of lectures, visit to nearby fossil sites, quiz on fossils, and other creative ways to let the people know about the fossils. Thank you all. Best wishes for the program.
Thank you, sir, for detailed information about the Paleontological Society of India. And we have an endeavor that more and more students come and join take membership, life membership of the society. With no further ado, we go for the main event of today, that is Professor Devesh Sinha's talk. Thank you, sir, for accepting this invitation. I request Mugdha to please introduce our main speaker for today.
Oh, sorry. Good morning, everyone, and welcome for IFD 2023 talk. Professor Devesh Sinha obtained his graduation and post-graduation degree in geology from Banaras Hindu University with a specialization in micropaleontology and paleoceanography. He obtained his doctoral degree from the same university on late Neogene paleoceanography of the Southwest Pacific Ocean based on deep sea cores recovered from International Ocean Drilling Program. Professor Sinha later did his postdoctoral studies from Geomar Research Center for Marine Geosciences, University of Kiel, Germany, on North Atlantic thermohaline circulation and Henrik Leers from Portuguese margin. He also studied the recession of alpine glaciers, Switzerland due to climate change. After serving his alma mater for nearly 2 decades, he joined the University of Delhi, where he continues to be a professor teaching oceanography and micropaleontology, paleoclimate, and stratigraphy. His research interests include refinement of Cenozoic geological timescale, paleoceanography, and climate change during the last 6 million years, understanding teleconnections in Earth-ocean climate system on the geological timescale, effect of plate tectonics, closing and opening of ocean gateways, and their effect on ocean circulation and climate change. He has significantly contributed to all the above aspects by publishing at international and national levels. Due to his contribution to paleoceanography, he has been invited by several reputed organizations in India and abroad to share his expertise. His research work has found very significant citations in international literature, including more than 10 refinements in the Cenozoic timescale, which have been incorporated in Geological Timescale 2020, published by Elsevier recently. Professor Sinha, with his group of students, has contributed significantly to the geological history and ocean circulation changes in high northern latitudes around the Arctic, in the Southern Ocean surrounding Antarctica. He is a recipient of prestigious Bhalla Gold Medal from the Paleontological Society of India in 2019. Professor Sinha has chaired several technical sessions in the national and international conferences and has delivered invited talks and keynote addresses at many prestigious national and international institutions. Professor Sinha has also been a participating shipboard scientist in the international oceanographic expeditions conducted under Joint Global Ocean Flux Studies in the Indian Ocean. Having wide experience in sailing the tropical, Pacific, Atlantic, and Indian Ocean, to working near the freezing Baltic Sea. At present, he has several international research projects on global Cenozoic ocean circulation. An author of several research articles and books, Professor Devesh Sinha is at present Director, Delhi School of Climate Change and Sustainability, Institution of Eminence, and Professor of Oceanography and Marine Geology in the Department of Geology, Center of Advanced Study at University of Delhi. Thank you, sir, for agreeing to do this lecture, and welcome for the talk. Thank you.
I'm sorry for so it's such a huge CV. We had to bring out the best. So sorry for the long introduction, but I think you deserved it. Thank you so much, sir. Can I request you to please share your slides?
Thank you, Rajni. Actually, the CV gets bigger once.
Sir, you're not audible. Yes. Sir?
Is it okay?
Yes, it is audible. Yes, sir. You're audible. You're audible.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
So actually, the CV is directly proportional to the age. So it keeps on accumulating. So I was born earlier, so I have a longer CV. So
Nigam sir is laughing.
If you start reading Nigam's
longer
CV,
sedimentary records, sir.
because by
stratigraphy.
being age, you get many things which probably or you may or may not deserve, but it comes in your way as you age. So several times I admit honestly, once I go to selection committees now, I find the CVs of the one who is appearing for the interviews better than mine. And this is the time, time where students are very agile, they are publishing so well. But of course, I also give credit to the experienced person that their experience, that how to judge amongst those youngsters who is the best. So then the experience comes. So really, for all the students, I will say that as you grow older, your CV will become thicker and many things will come without your own effort, just like the headship, the deanship, the directorship, all these things. I never applied, but it came because of the seniority. So anyway, that was a lighter part of it. So I'm going to talk something when Rajni requested. I think it is a Paleontological Society of India. And I don't want it to be a Paleoceanographical Society or Paleoclimate Society. But of course, the fossils do have applications in many fields, just like the paleoceanography or paleoclimate. And then you will listen many lectures by many people on the application also. And they are equally important. But today I took a topic which is a favorite topic to me right from my BSc days, about our ancestors. And recently we have the Pitru Paksh, where we offer prayers to those who were our ancestors, and 14 days are devoted. And I'm happy that it's sort of Pitru Paksh, International Fossil Day also, that we devote the time to honor the ancestors, not really direct ancestors, but all the fossils, they were our ancestors. So keeping that spirit in mind, I will be giving you a very brief talk on my views on organic evolution, and just bear with me for about half an hour or less, and then you can ask questions also. So I'll take 1 minute to share the slide.
Just your print screen.
Is it coming now?
Yes, sir. So can you put it on show mode?
Is it
Slideshow.
okay?
Yes, yes, done, sir.
Okay, so the title of the talk is Organic Evolution, Problems and Challenges. Particularly to the students, I will tell that whenever some hypothesis or theory emerges and it finds its ways into textbook, unfortunately, it creates a belief system. And this belief system is what drives our research also. And many a times we don't question the established theories. And if you look at the research papers published, which are of very high quality, you will always find that those papers have challenged some or the other belief system. And if you look at the history of paleontology, the history is full of facts where people challenged a particular belief, including the discovery of conodonts from the Thal phosphorites, which brought a change in the age of Kroll-Thal sequences from Mesozoic to Precambrian, Cambrian. But for 200 years, we were happy with Kroll-Thal being Mesozoic. So what happens that whenever some belief system persists for longer, then we are biased to think in that direction only. I have no intention to challenge the Darwinism or organic evolution. I'm just telling you that any theory which is now prevailing in the society, in the science, always try to question. And then and only then you may get some new things. If you believe it, then you are a religious person. You can't change your religion. Whatever is there, it is the faith. You don't challenge your religion with logic. You believe it. So in science, please don't be very religious and don't believe everything. And before I start the talk, let me tell you, I believe in organic evolution, but I'll tell you how we can question it also. I have this very good depiction of 4 people which I like very much. They were the very founders of bringing paleontology into the limelight of geological time scale. If you look at the leftmost, Roderick Murchison and Adam Segdwick, these were 2 friends who used to work in the Wales, one working in the North Wales and the other working in the South Wales. And they classified the Welsh sequences. And one, the Segdwick, he named the Cambrian, and while Murchison named the Silurian. And these were based on mostly the fauna, the trilobites. And then they were not able to identify many fossils which were there in the Welsh sequences. And thus, Cambrian and Silurian were only 2 periods for almost 6 decades. Because of the identification of the fossils was not complete. And to tell you who was Adam Segdwick, you will be amazed that he was PhD guide of Charles Darwin. Just like Rajiv Nigam is guide of Dr. Rajni Panchal. So Charles Darwin's guide, Adam Segdwick, and his friend Murchison, they were not able to identify the upper Cambrian fossils and lower Silurian fossils. And it took almost 60 years when Charles Lapworth came, born in 1842, and 1879, Lapworth identified the graptolites, and he carved out the upper part of Cambrian and lower part of Silurian into what we know today as Ordovician. This is the power of fossil. One thing. Second thing, the problem is the organic evolution is non-linear. It is not that every year or every million year or every 10 million years things will happen. They can happen 10 events in 1 million year or maybe 10 million years, no event. Is it okay? Audio is okay? Okay.
Yes, sir, it's okay.
So geological time scale, which is based on the organic evolution, is also non-linear. Sometimes the students of BSc, they ask us, what is this geological time scale? We have 4.6 billion year old Earth. Let us say 1 million year, 2 million year, 3 million year, and so on up to recent. No, this is not. If you start writing your biography, you don't write what did you do in the first year you were born, first day, Monday, Tuesday, Sunday. No. You write your biography when you pass high school, matriculation, graduation, when you get married, when you have children, when you get divorced, when you get remarried. All these events make your biography. Like the Earth also. The Earth has non-linearity in its events, and that is why geological time scale is non-linear. So with due respect to Murchison, Sedgwick, Darwin, and Lefort, we proceed and show you. Let us take a Cambrian system, the chronostratigraphic unit. Here you find the duration, which is written in red. You find that some stages are 9 million years, some stages are 5, some are 4. That means the stages, the series, they are of unequal duration. And this unequal duration is what is non-linear. Linear means a straight line where the slope is same. No, it is not. And you will find the Cambrian is so long that even compares with Cenozoic era. So no era, no period, no system, no series in geological time scale is of equal duration. Why? Because the organic evolution itself is non-linear. So this is the first point, first problem which I wanted to talk about. Now let us come to the organic evolution. So first is, what is evolution and what is involution? Involution term you don't listen in geology. Involution term was first used by Swami Vivekananda in his book, that whatever evolves ultimately involves. Just like if you see the Big Bang Theory, that the singularity where the universe explodes, expands, and then ultimately again coalesces to a single point where the gravitational collapse happens and again it expands. That is the oscillating theory of universe. But this you can see even in daily life. A seed is ready to sacrifice itself beneath the ground, goes, leaves, then tree, and then tree again gives you the seed. So this cycle goes on. If you look at the fetal growth, the embryo, and ultimately the man sitting here, and then again the man gives the embryo. This is the organic world. In inorganic world also you see the oceans, they are giving the clouds. Clouds are carried by the winds. They precipitate groundwater, river. Ultimately, it goes all to the ocean. So this whole idea of involution and evolution, this was also there in our Upanishads. That whatever is evolved was involved somewhere. Say, I tell you, if you take a seed of the banyan tree or a mango tree, the seed is an involved tree. That means the tree is there, but you don't see it. It is involved. It is there. The whole seed is a tree, but the tree needs time to grow. So this is in ontogenetic stage, that means life stage of an individual or even in inorganic world, we see that involution is there. It is only we have to imagine that something, even in society, your problems for the youngsters, your problems are involved at this age of 20. They will be evolved if you don't tackle them well. So with time only the involution becomes evolution. And once the evolution reaches acme, it becomes again involved. So this is a very important aspect of evolution. And if you go to the Huttonian uniformitarianism, Hutton said no vestiges of a beginning, no prospects of an end. Now, many people don't understand that why his follower, Charles Lyell, used to believe that all the species which were extinct, they will reappear again. Because if you represent no vestiges of beginning, no prospects of an end by a geometric figure, the geometric figure is always a circle which has no beginning and no end. And if you put the organism in a circle, whatever arrow you make from ape towards man, dinosaur towards ape, fish towards dinosaurs, trilobite towards fish, the arrow keeps on moving. That means, again, what Lyell believed, the trilobites will appear, fish will appear, dinosaur will appear, and this whole will be a circle. This is what is gradualism. This is what is uniformitarianism. Against George Cuvier's catastrophism. who said that things can happen by catastrophes. Things have no precursors, and gradualists and catastrophists, they are still there. They fight. Which one is true? Well, if you look at the organic evolution, the fossil record, you will find both are true. Now here is the man with longest beard is Charles Darwin. And Charles Darwin was third in his generation who is accredited with discovering organic evolution. Is it true? Of course not. Charles Darwin's father, Robert Darwin, was a physicist, a doctor, medical doctor. And his father, Erasmus Darwin, was also a medical practitioner. Charles Darwin's son, Harvard Darwin, his son, Galton Darwin, his son, Henry Darwin. Henry Darwin only died in 1992. So if you look at the ancestry of this beautiful lineage, 10 of these were in Royal Society fellows. The gene is carried through. The gene is carried through. The evolution itself is depicted by Darwin's family. And come to the ancestor Darwin. An ancestor Darwin is here. And this is what Darwin believed. You can see the two appendages in front and two behind, and they are just like the hands and legs. And these are the ancestors. These are the organic evolution. This is how we have come. Who discovered evolution? Was it Charles Darwin? Well, if you see the lectures and readings by Ned Friedman of Harvard, he has compiled the entire history of evolutionary thoughts. And you will be amazed to believe that Darwin was the 70th evolutionist. And before Darwin, many people had this wonderful idea of natural selection, struggle for existence, survival for the fittest. Darwin was influenced by the ambience, as Darwin promulgated that the organisms, they are influenced by the ambience. Darwin himself was a victim of its ambience. His grandfather, Erasmus Darwin, wrote the Zoonomia, in which he discussed about the natural selection, organic evolution. Alexander Moritzky, who is an ignored person in science, he wrote a wonderful book on the reflections of the natural history and species. And it's a wonderful book in which he discussed many aspects of what Darwin said. Then Alfred Russel Wallace, an FRS, he was a co-discoverer of Darwin, but look at the humbleness. Russell was working in our provinces in Malaya Peninsula, Indonesia, and there he came out with the idea of organic evolution. He prepared a manuscript and sent it to Darwin. And it is not that the Darwin did not acknowledge Russell. Darwin did acknowledge, but ultimately what comes, once you go to a restaurant, you order many food. What comes before you is a platter, wonderful food. You forget about how this food was cooked, what was the spice, what was the brand of the namak, what was the whole process. Only you enjoy the food. And this food was delivered by Darwin in the famous book, The Origin of Species. And this Origin of Species book is here. And I will advise all of you to read this Origin of Species. The original reading is always helpful. So Darwin, in his own writing, admitted that there were more than 33 people who earlier had similar views about evolution. But as I told you, the Plato, the most beautiful book in very simple language, was delivered by Darwin. But Lamarck, as you know, that Lamarck had similar ideas about organic evolution, and he wrote in Philosophy Zoology. But Lamarckism was different from Darwin. Lamarck used to believe that within the lifetime of an individual, If the individual is trying to gather food from height, the individual is going to increase the height during its lifetime. And then in reproduction, the individual will transmit this trait to its offspring, which is not true scientifically. Lamarck also wrote, but the idea that it cannot be that Darwin did not read Lamarck's book. It read, but Darwin came with Origin of Species quite later. There was a small time where both of them lived. Lamarck was a French, and you can see that the French magazine, which is in English is called The Little Moon by André Gille. It is a satire magazine. They published this front page showing this Darwin because they were favoring Lamarck. So the Origin of Species and the Philosophie Zoologique, they were almost a competitor for some time. So the problem one now with this background is a very simple problem. Anybody who has little bit knowledge of science can appreciate it. Look at the inorganic world. Inorganic world gives you repetitive condition. The temperature fluctuates, the sea level fluctuates, the ice sheets melt, the ice sheet grow. The ice sheet melt, the ice sheet grow. The glaciation comes, the deglaciation comes. Carbon dioxide rises, carbon dioxide reduces. At the time of Antarctic ice sheet development at the Oligocene-Eocene boundary, the carbon dioxide was 750 ppm. Before that, it has gone up to 1500 ppm, 3000 ppm, now 410 ppm. So what I want to say is the inorganic world is repetitive. If you look at Vindhyan supergroup, sandstone, shale, sandstone, shale, sandstone, shale. By looking at the sandstone, you can't say what is its age. Limestone can form in any time. Sandstone can form any time. The rocks don't have temporal characteristics. For some rocks, like anorthosite or banded iron formation. But if you look at the organic world, which according to Darwin was controlled by inorganic world, natural selection, the organic world amazingly did not repeat it. Why? We did have repetitive conditions. So if any evolution occurred during carbon dioxide maxima, glacial maxima, warm period, then this evolution did not reverse itself with time. When the conditions were similar to the past, the evolution did not look back. This is the difference between the repetitive and non-repetitive character. And that is a problem in organic evolution. If you attribute all organic evolution to the ambience and the pressure and the stress on the organism, then a natural consequence is that whenever the situation returns, the organism can have the same morphology, same forms, what Charles Lyell used to believe. This is problem one. Now, problem two is the natural selection. Natural selection was beautifully defined by Darwin. It is not the strongest of the species that survives, nor the most intelligent of the species survives. I will come to this nuisance of ChatGPT at the end of my talk. It is not the intelligent species which survives, but the one most responsive to change that survives. This is survival of the fittest. And Darwin differed from Lamarckism that the natural selection selects only those species which are stronger individuals, and the other, the weaker, they die. And thus the genes which is transmitted is from the stronger ones. But look at the most revered ancestors of our time, the Salkhan stromatolites, very close to Banaras. You can see the conophytons there. The earliest form of life, the cyanobacteria. Now you can see the stromatolites forming now in Shark Bay in Australia. That means the ancestor is still there to see how you are doing. And you can see the algal bloom, cyanobacteria in the modern water. So this is also a problem, that if we owe our origin to the earliest form of life, then how the earliest form of life still is surviving and not affected by the audience. That means there is more to organic evolution than the natural selection, survival for the fittest, struggle for existence, because our most ancient ancestor is still there. You can see the stromatolites being formed today, and the stromatolites are, if you go to Birbal Science Institute of Paleobotany, you can see archaeal stromatolites also. So this is problem 2. Now problem 3 was that at what level the natural selection comes. And this is a famous book by Richard Dawkins. Richard was also influenced by Darwin, and he wrote a book, The Selfish Gene. And I will read only the last one. Is it the selfish species, selfish group? At what level the nature interacts? What kind of interaction at what level? Is it at the species level or group level? And then comes later the DNA. If you look at perception of the organism, the Homo sapiens sapiens, as we are called, are we a group of organisms? I will say yes. This is my personal belief. Since my heart can work in other person, since my lungs can work in other person, my eyes can work in other person, my liver can grow a liver in other person, and you know that organ donation, every organ can work in, many of the organs can work in other person. So who is dead then? That means we are a collection of organisms. And if you go by the cells, we have trillions of cells in our body. And those who know biology, they know that every cell is an entity. It is an entity. Once you get infected, you can see on YouTube how your white blood cell chases the bacteria and engulfs it. You don't have, he does not ask consent from you. The moment you get infected, your white blood cells start chasing those bacteria and they eat it. They don't need your consent. That means they are independent. So cells are independent, organs are independent. They can be transferred from one to other. So at what level the natural selection works? After the discovery of the double helix structure of DNA in 1953 by Watson and Crick, the evolution was looked again in a different manner. Origin of Species, Darwin's once he wrote 1859. There was no discovery like DNA. Now I ask you all a question. If DNA is responsible for transmitting all the traits from the parents to the descendants, then where is the evolution? Well, evolution is there. There is some hidden mechanism, mysterious mechanism by which our interaction with the environment, ambience, is communicated to our DNA. And this is what I discussed with a very famous biologist, is a very top-rated biologist for Indian Institute of Science. He said, we never thought about it. Yes, but since evolution is a very slow process, it takes time. Maybe after 10,000, 20,000, 50,000 years, we will see the effect of this climate deterioration on our organs. Maybe we will grow a lung with more capacity to filter carbon dioxide. This is what I think of. So this is also an organic evolution after the discovery of DNA, that how we communicate to our DNA that something is changing. Is DNA aware of climate change? Or organs are aware of climate change? Or cells are aware of climate change? We don't know. So organisms awareness and DNA awareness. And I'll not skip to mention that if you look at the biography of Watson and Crick, they discovered DNA in 53, but they were influenced by a book. This book is by This is a very famous book by Erwin Schrödinger. Erwin Schrödinger, you might be knowing, got Nobel Prize for quantum mechanics. Erwin Schrödinger was a physicist. He wrote a book on what is life. And both Watson and Crick, they acknowledged that the whole motivation to discover the DNA structure they got from Schrödinger's book, who was a physicist, and he wrote a book on life. And do you know, Schrödinger was influenced by what? Schrödinger's equation on which he got Nobel Prize, that is one equation. Schrödinger was influenced by Upanishads. And Schrödinger has written in his biography that all the ideas which he has developed, he was motivated and inspired by Upanishads. So how these one book influences the generation, the biologists, the physicists, the chemists, this is well out of context, but I wanted to mention. Now coming to the end part of my lecture, I am a micropaleontologist. So here is a problem. The problem is, here is Globorotalia minardiae, everybody is familiar. I have taken a very familiar example. Globorotalia minardiae is the ancestor of Globorotalia limbata and multicamerata. Minardiae has given rise to limbata in phylogeny, and limbata by increasing number of chambers given rise to multicamerata. But as Zifeli and Scott in 1986 have written a big volume on Globorotalis, they said that the experimentation of the Minardiae form species to increase the number of chambers failed. What does it mean? That if Planktic foraminifera was doing experiments in late Pliocene to increase the number of chambers in its evolutionary trait, these both, they became extinct at the northern hemisphere glaciation, but the ancestor still continues. So what is Darwin? What is adaptability? And what is experiment? That a small planktic foraminifera doing experiment, increasing number of chambers, the evolved form becomes extinct, the ancestor continues, and you can find Globorotalia minardia in thermocline waters of the modern ocean. That is another problem. Similar problem with this Globorotalia crassiformis. If you look at, this is a keeled form, and its descendant Truncaltonoides, which is found in modern water, is also a keeled form. And they form a very important fossils for biozonation. But Globorotalia crassiformis gave rise to Globorotalia tosansis, which is completely non-keeled. And their evolutionary gradualism is so nicely depicted that you get all sorts of plexus form between crassiformis and tosansis. But again, the experiment of growing a non-keeled form failed, and at 0.6 million years, tosansis became extinct, but Truncaltonoides continued. That means, again, the experiment failed. So should we attribute it to natural selection, ambience change? I don't know. There are problems. And this is what is phyletic gradualism, that we have in microfossils depicted phyletic gradualism against punctuated equilibria, where you get suddenly a species without any connection to the ancestor's morphology. And last example is of Spectabilis, Puleniatina spectabilis, which evolved in the equatorial Pacific, but we don't find it in Indian Ocean or even the Atlantic Ocean. And the planktic gene pool could not migrate. So what was the oceanographic condition which gave rise to Puleniatina spectabilis is still unknown, that why this species is endemic to equatorial Pacific. So these are many problems in microscopic world also. And last but not the least, we have two hypotheses where it shows that not the ambience only puts the pressure on the organism, but it is the organism also puts pressure on the ambient. And two important things is Gaia hypothesis given by James Lovelock. Lovelock died at the age of 103, 2 years back. He gave that the Gaia, that means the organisms change the ambience to suit it. That means the organisms change the entire ambience to suit their own livelihood. That means the ambience is not putting pressure on the organism, but organism is directing the ambient. And with that, we have claw hypothesis, which is given by Charlson, Lovelock, Henry, and Warren. From the first letter, this is claw hypothesis. This says that whenever there's a rise in temperature, the coccolithophores or the phytoplanktons, they multiply, they give rise over DMS, dimethyl sulfate, which creates clouds. The clouds stops radiation and then it cools down. So it's a negative feedback. So here you have a case where the organisms, they are evolving the ambience. It is not the organisms themselves evolving. They are there. Coccolithophores are there for millions of years. So this is reverse is also true. So this is the concluding slide, epilogue with many questions. How many fauna and flora survived Permian Triassic and KT extinction? Many. If you look at the Permian Triassic extinction events, recently, only 3 days back, there is a paper in Science about beautifully preserved fauna and flora. And this paper is published in Science only 3 days back. 1 million years after Permian Triassic bound, which is supposed to create 96% of the extinctions in marine. So this is a question, then why not all became extinct? And if you look at many of the forms at even KT boundary, they survived. They were not affected by them. Second thing is squalling. Many a times we are fascinated by the studies of Kate Darling and others. The Neogloboquadrina sinistral should be called as something else. So dextral should be called, okay. Doesn't make any difference to the paleontologist, because if I call Neogloboquadrina pachyderma as Ashutosh Kumar Singh, our paleoceanographic interpretations will not change because we are taking the abundance in the fossil record. So many types of genetic studies are being made. Okay, for academic purpose, it's okay. But if sinistral and dextral, they are different, no problem. And for the youngsters, let me tell you, it was not Kate Darling who discovered there 2 species. It was an Indian from NIU. I will give the reference, who first called that these 2 coiling varieties are different. I don't want to take the name because that person is ignored. But if you look at Planck Forum database or worm, you will get that reference. The Indians don't refer, but they refer that this was the first person. Then a very interesting question to the young person. I ask you whether eyes came first or ear came first in the paleontological record. Well, if you look at the ambience, the light is something which was exploited by the eyes, and sound is something which is exploited by ears. So, well, literature shows that the eyes, they predate the ears by 40 million years. Why? And if there were no eyes, how the organisms knew that there is a light and we should grow eyes? This is the problem. Because the organisms have a desire to evolve. And if the organisms are blind, how they knew that there is light and thus we must grow eyes? So these all go against the general belief. So organic evolution is true, but many of the traits, many of the concepts must be modified. If somebody doesn't have ear, he will have no even sense of sound. So how an organism can grow ear to listen to something which he does not know? So the ears, eyes, the blind trilobites, the eye trilobites. Then Ernest Haeckel's, the famous word ontogeny recapitulates phylogeny. And can it be verified in all organisms? And if you look at, it cannot, but at many times it can. And that gives rise to heterochrony. If you look at Professor Jayakrishna's paper on the ammonoid chronology, heterochrony is there. That means the youngster form, the organisms, they resemble their ancestors. And it's case even in human evolution also. And last one, organic evolution and ChatGPT. In paleontology, this is also a concept that the organisms which don't use any organ, they lose it. So the youngster, please don't use ChatGPT and all these things, because you will be losing your whole intellect. Artificial intelligence is a misnomer. It is a complete misnomer, I can tell you. You look at Bernard Kastrup, you look at Leo Guerra, you look at Donald Hoffman, you listen to all these lectures, it's complete misnomer. It's artificial computing, no intelligence there. Intelligence is something which feels. Artificial intelligence doesn't feel. It is you feed the feeling into artificial. So the chat GPT, I heard that many of the dissertations are being written by chat GPT. So you may lose your capacity of the brain also if organic evolution is true. So if believing Darwinism, don't use all this. And can paleontology teach us to be healthy? Yes. If you see the ontogenetic evolution, we are getting involved now because of our lifestyle, many things. So there is one evolution from amoeba to man, and there is one evolution that with age, we should not lose the capacity of our organs, the thinking, the interest, the music, chatting with friends, many things. If you don't do it and involved in social media, always sticking to your computers, living in a two-dimensional world, the paleontologist said that your body will be suited to two-dimension and not to three-dimension. Thank you all. Namaskar.
So thank you for a different talk. In the first few slides, I didn't know where this was leading. And I think before anything else, let's open the forum for questions. Any questions from students first? I'm sure the veterans are going to have something to say. Any questions from students? Please unmute yourself and ask questions. You can also raise your hand. Mugdha. Yeah.
Sir, I had one question. You showed the evolution of a species. So you showed that it was keeled first and then it became non-keeled. So now we do genetic sequencing, so to know the evolution, but before genetic sequencing, how people knew that it evolved from one species to another species, and it was not a different species, especially in micropaleontology.
Yeah, you see that species actually don't evolve. Let me give you a very straight answer. Species are created. So that is why if you look at the title of the Darwin's book, it is on the origin of species. That species cannot evolve, because if a species is represented by an individual is what interacts with the ambience. So from generation, if the individual which is A starts differing from individual which is B, and there is no interbreeding, then we say there is a speciation. And speciation can be allopatric, sympatric, peripatric, many things are there. Okay, with geographic isolation, reproductive isolation, there are theories on that. So now you know the genetic sequence. So what you find is that you come out with the conclusion that these two are having genetically similar, and thus they are biological species. But organic evolution talks about the morphospecies. That is a paleontological species. We don't talk about biological species. And that is why I pointed out that all these DNA sequences, which are being done for the recent microfossils, they are changing the name of the species, okay, but that is biological species. But for paleontology, if you are familiar with paleobotany, you will appreciate that the stem is one species, the leaf is another species. The roots are different species. So there the species is different. The concept of paleontological species is completely different from biological species. And DNA has a limitation. You can't extract DNA for older things. Okay? So DNA, the role is there that DNA is transmitter. Okay? And what Darwin says that the natural selection, you have the strongest, and then the strongest survive, and thus the stronger genes they transfer. But there are problems, as I told you, cyanobacteria, revert them, they are still there. And many of our ancestors, even apes are there. You can find them in zoos.
Sir, she's trying to ask you that when you showed a keel species, then you said that it adapted and it became non-keel species. And then it again became keel species. How do you decide that this is the same species which has evolved or adapted to form a non-keel species? That is her question.
So I'll simplify it. Cressoformis, Globoratelia cressoformis is a typical 4-chambered form. Then you start getting 4.5-chambered. And you start getting keel losing. It loses keel. And then you get 5-chambered form with partial development of keel. And then you suddenly get a form without any keel. That is Tuzans. So that is called as phyletic gradualism. Okay. So all paleontologists, so what is Archaeopteryx found in Schoenhafen limestone? It was neither a full bird nor a full reptile. It has characters of both. One of the problems in Darwinism is scarcity of transitional species, which Lyell used to believe that Charles Lyell did not believe in organic evolution, though he classified the entire tertiary based on percentage of mollusks, not on organic evolution. Dawn of the recent Eocene, less recent Oligocene, middle of the recent Miocene, major of the recent Pliocene, most recent Pleistocene, whole recent Holocene. It's the percentage of mollusks, but not on evolution. Lyell only in his last days of life said, yes, I can believe that the species can be created by evolution. So this is phyletic gradualism. But if you find it, it is in microscopic world, we often find phyletic gradualism. But in the megascopic world, many a times two forms, we don't get transitional species. And many a time these fossil collectors also, they extract fossils from many localities. So Professor Srinivasan used to teach us a topic, imperfection of the geological record. That's a whole topic, that how imperfection of the geological record is a handicap in the organic evolution.
Sir, there's another student, Arnav Kanugo. Arnav, can I ask you to please open your window if we can see you? Arnav Kanungo?
Yes, ma'am. Just a minute.
Hi, Arnav.
Am I audible?
Yes, you're audible. Yes, can we see you? It will be nice to see you. Yeah. Thanks, Arnav.
So good afternoon, everyone.
Yes.
So So I just wanted to ask that since you said there's no repetition in the organic world, but if there's like repetition in the inorganic world, we will see certain trends, right? Like if there's glaciations, we will see that the organisms have thicker fat layer, or like similar trends. So with inorganic repetition, there is certain trends that are repeated again, right, in animals as well. So there's a certain repetition in organic world as well. So can you explain that, please?
Yes. If you look at the, particularly once you talked about glaciation, I'll tell you that same planktic foraminifera, once they're in the colder waters, they get an incrustation. Okay. And this was published in Science by Srinivasan and Kennett, 1995, about Neogloboquadrina pachyderma, the incrusted calcite. But the problem is that the same glaciation did not affect the other planktic foramina. That means all of them don't get incrusted calcites. So that is what I said is the problem, that similar inorganic changes is not imposing similar organic change. And if at all a change is there, if the deglaciation comes, those foraminifera, they don't shed their incrustation. They have become a species, original species. So they don't change, they don't go back reverse. And that is why organic evolution we take as to mark the geological time scale. Had it been reversed, then you can get trilobites in Jurassic. Then how you'll say it's Jurassic? Okay, the entire concept of biogenation is based on non-repetitive nature of the organic.
Sir, I have another question actually.
Yeah, please.
So since we're talking about evolution, like it's a bit different. So I wanted to ask that what are certain organisms or certain species more like prone to evolution or more prone to alteration like than other ones? Like for example, we take wolves and dogs. So would it be possible that if we start to tame lions today in the same time span, like in the past, in the next 10,000 years, would they be domesticated? So like, are certain species more prone to other?
Yes, yes. A species, as I told you, a species is a unit, artificial unit of individuals which interbreed as far as biology is concerned. But the interaction of the ambience is not with the species, it is with the individuals. Okay? So individuals, if they are in a different ambience, with time, they can be having a different traits. And even in recent years, it has been found in last 100 years that because of the urbanization and many other changes, land use, certain species of animals, they have strange behavior. Say, for example, I give you a particular spider. A particular spider started using gastropod shell to, it takes it and then hangs from a tree. And then all reproduction comes in the gastropod shell. This is the availability of the gastropod shells at the beach. So likewise, you might have heard the species which are endangered. You might have heard that there are things to do, but definitely the behavior of the wild animal, it has been found in 100 years that there is little change. But how this change will result in speciation, this we have to wait for many years. We don't know. But of course, I am one thing about sure is that the young generation, the way they are using social media and chat GPT, not more than 1 or 2 decades, they will lose most part of their brain. Because it's very, I'm interacting with the students now, and you ask a question, they will open the mobile phone and they will start Google. Google Gyan is a hard disk, external hard disk now, and it is creating a lot of problems in the brain. So let us consider ourselves also a part of the evolution. The Andaman tribes, if you go to Jarawa, Hongis, they are not interacting with any environment. People try to go there, they throw bows, arrows, so they are not evolving. But I say they are evolved. They are free from many ill things. They are in their society very happy. So evolution is, as Darwin's, if you read the Origin of Species, Darwin defined it as a descent with modification. That's all. So modification doesn't mean that it's always advantageous.
Okay. There's a question by Shivani Pathak. Ms. Shivani Pathak. Hi, Shivani.
Hi, ma'am.
Yes. Can you say where you're from before you ask your question?
I'm from Indira Gandhi National Tribal University, Amarkantak. I'm a student. So, good afternoon, sir. So, my question is, there have been examples of primary eyeless trilobites like agnostus and secondary eyeless trilobites like Phecopta, which means they lost their eyes during the course of their evolution. So my question is, will this be involution or evolution?
This is all evolution. Involution, which I defined you, involution occurs at 2 stages. One is at ontogenetic stage, that as you know that a man grows from an embryo and ultimately fuses an embryo. This is involution. That means what I want to say is the embryo, the man is involved in that embryo, or the tree is involved in the seed. What you are discussing is evolution. Evolution means descent with modification over time. So any change. There are species which have lost their eyes. Do you know? This is also considered as evolution. Many of the species were cave species. They were discovered that for thousands of years they were living in dark caves. So their generations, they lost their eyes. That is why I'm saying about ChatGPT. You look at ammonitics, ammonoids, the goniatitic suture, the ammonetic suture, ceratitic suture, all these things, they are connected with the Schindewolf study about the depth of the ocean. So any change is considered. Evolution doesn't mean only that it's good. I don't consider we are evolving now. What we do is we burn carbon dioxide, then we do conference on carbon dioxide, how it has to be. What we do is we hold a conference on carbon sequestration, and then once we drive the car, we go to a petrol pump and fill sequestered carbon.
And again, release it. Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Shivani? Yeah, okay. Can the next question by Abhinav? Abhinav, are you there behind the screen?
Yes, yes. Am I audible?
Can you open your camera? Can we see you?
Yes, ma'am. Just a second.
At least you can ask your question, introduce yourself, say where you're from.
Okay. Good afternoon, ma'am. Good afternoon, sir. I am from Baba Saheb Bhimrao Ambedkar University, Lucknow, studying MSc Geology. So, sir, I have a question. Like you said that evolution happens due to a reaction to a change. So, what events led to the evolution of human beings? Because we human beings evolved, we choose to evolve intellectually to survive then morphologically. So, what are the events that can happen such?
I couldn't understand. Rajni, can you explain his question?
Okay. Abhinav, if I understand, you said that, Sir said that evolution is because of an organism's response, right? A reaction to the environment.
Yes.
So he's trying to say that, how do you think what responses of humans can cause them to evolve? Am I right?
Yes, evolve intellectually rather than morphologically to survive.
Evolve intellectually rather than morphologically. You are asking what could be the response of human beings to show that they have evolved. What is the question?
My question is that what may be the event that lead to the evolution of human beings intellectually rather
okay,
than
I have
morphologically?
understood, Rajni. I'll answer.
Yes.
Well, see, one thing is that this evolution is a very, very slow process. Okay. So there is an ontogenetic evolution and there is a phylogenetic evolution. In say 20,000 years later, you may find people with more height or less height. Okay. People with more hearing capacity, people lungs filtering more carbon dioxide. This is a phylogenetic evolution. In ontogenetic evolution, this is spirituality. That once you are born, how you evolve. So that is why I said that all your faculties which are there, the thinking ability, memorizing ability, or you see the Olympic is the answer. Somebody can jump 7 feet. You can jump 4 feet. Somebody can run 100 meters in 10 seconds. You can run in 20 seconds. So all these events are being done to show the capacity of the brain. If you look at Soborn Bari, who was also in Pune University, once he was 6 years old, he was made a professor in Harvard University. Damn intelligent. If you look at Shakuntala Devi, she didn't need any computer to calculate. Now, these are glimpses that your brain has the facility and faculty to go to that kind of a higher level. And they even didn't know that they can do it. But there are, and similarly, there are people with all sorts of amazing abilities giving you the glimpses that our human body is capable of doing all these things. So the events which you have asked, Abhinav, is that use more and more your intellectual ability. The more you use your intellectual ability, give stress, then you evolve. That is why planktonic foraminifera evolved more than benthic foraminifera. We don't use benthic foraminifera for biostratigraphy because they are living at 2 degrees temperature at the bottom of the sea. So deep sea benthics are not useful, but shallow water benthics, they are very useful. Larger foraminifera. Planktic foraminifera interacting with the ambience, they are very good for biostratigraphy. So if you give stress to your brain, don't use chat GPT, don't use calculator, don't use much Google, don't use much internet, read good books. Then your capacity will, and in your own lifetime, you can evolve. And that is how I said, on one day, I saw in an international conference, a person was talking about climate change and carbon dioxide. And every 10 minutes, because of his habit, he was going outside and smoking. So you are talking about carbon dioxide in the atmosphere, and then you are taking carbon monoxide. What is this? This is a whole hypocrisy in which we are. So evolve more, do something with yourself. Okay, don't depend. If you have legs strong, don't use bicycle.
Okay. So we have, who's in Phoenix? I don't know your name, please. Can you please unmute yourself, open your camera, reveal your name, say where you're from. Yeah. Your good name, sir.
Ma'am, I'm Siddhant from University of Lucknow. Good afternoon, ma'am, and good afternoon, sir. Ma'am, my question is that I'm starting with a quotation, that Hutton quotation, no vestige of a beginning and no prospect of an end. But it simply means the species which are extinct are in the future, they will come again. That is the meaning of that, sir. So at what time, in the future, at what time they will come? They will come at what? There is a specific time or something else?
Yes, actually, Hutton did not mean this. It was interpreted by Lyell, because no vestiges of a beginning and no prospects of an end. That means if you go for life, say for the origin of life, you will find that the Halden soup or Harald Urey's experiment, all the origin of life is from inorganic food. That we created the nucleotides and nucleic acid by passing energy into an organic soup. So that is why Hutton, at that time, you must appreciate that he could realize that we cannot find the beginning of life. And that is why there's a strong theory that life came from extraterrestrial. Yes. We are all extraterrestrial. So the species which reappear, this is Lyell used to believe, because Lyell used not to believe in organic evolution or speciation. So your question that what time it will come, nobody has estimated. We don't know future what will happen. Maybe 10 million years, 20 million years, 30 million years, you may have something else. Even Spielberg tried to make this Jurassic Park by creating a scientific that from the insects, you create the DNA and do all sorts of things. Many people are doing many things in the world. We don't know what will happen. But in natural course of evolution, I don't see any chance of dinosaurs returning back to the...
Thank you so much, sir.
Okay. I don't see any students' hands raised. Can I open? Yes. Can I open the forum for the veterans and the seniors if they have any questions or any interaction with Professor Sinha? निगम सर कुछ कहना चाहेंगे? आनंद सर, निगम सर कहिए.
I am always a big fan of oratory of Devesh Sinha, and thank you for a very mesmerizing lecture. I remember your last slides where you say that the idea of DNA studies came from the Upanishads. It's take me to the beginning of your lecture. Again, old ancient philosophy in Indian region, that nobody says that you believe in me. Okay. They always allow the curiosity. They always allow to question. Okay. Unless you question, unless you analyze what has been published, what has been said, and new things will never come. The research will stop the moment you say so and so has said, and that's the last word. In science or in life, there is no last word. Okay, so my simple request to the students, keep reading, but along with the reading, keep thinking. And don't get impressed by the status of a person, that if Nigam has said this or if Devesh has said, we can't question them. No. The intelligence is nobody's monopoly, and always the new thing comes. Of course, any new idea has never been accepted without questioning or without trouble. The Galileo was made blind because he was talking something different than the prevailing beliefs. So if you go against the prevailing belief, then only you can make a change, or you can make a new discoveries. I'll tell you, when Dr. Devesh Sinha organized the colloquium at Banaras, I presented a paper which was had a good coverage about the life of planktonic foraminifera. And there was a prevailing belief that they have an order of weeks. And with that belief, because belief cannot be challenged, the result cannot be challenged, it is coming from the white skin. People try to explain which otherwise cannot be explained by very, very different methods. And I found that the paper which we wrote on established practices, routine papers get accepted very fast. But if you go against it, it takes a lot of time. So the students, if you really want to make discoveries, you want to live to your wonderful brain, which they should keep insisting, use your brain. It's have a tremendous power. I hope a new discoveries will come. Thank you, Devesh, for a very thought-provoking lecture. You have not repeated anything, rather it's giving a new thought. I hope that each student will carry the message, think, do experiment, come up with the new things. Thank you.
Anand sir, I think Dr. Anand Kale wants to say something.
Yeah. First of all, let me thank Professor Devesh for an excellent talk. I've heard him many a times, and even if he speaks on the same topic again, he brings a new aspect and a new flavor to it. And that is what geology is. That I also pick up the thread from what he said. Geology is not in ChatGPT or in published formal literature. It is in the field, it is in your observations, it is in the data you generate. That is the only thing that will evolve your thinking. That's the message Professor Devesh was giving to the students, and I really appreciate his saying so. Thank you, sir, for an excellent talk, and I'm sure all students will benefit from your short but beautiful talk.
Thank you, sir. Anyone else who has Hussain sir, Kantimati ma'am, Manjarwadkar sir?
Hello.
I think Manjarwadkar sir is here. Yes, sir.
I congratulate Devesh Sinha sir, because he has given a very illustrative lecture, and actually the message given by him is very nice, that one should be very thorough in observing and in interpreting the data. One should be very faithful in collecting the data. If you are not collecting faithfully, you cannot interpret the data, because for that you need a very high level of patience to interpret the data. First, you have to understand the data, what we are collecting, and how we are going to interpret, and which will be understood by the plethora of scientists. It should be understandable to the lowermost person who is having less knowledge, as well as the intellectuals. And the message given by Dr. Sinha sir is very lucid and very it is very communicated in a right way. I congratulate sir and thank you. Thank you.
Any more questions? VP Mishra sir? Mishra sir? Yeah, Hussain sir. Kuch kehna?
Yeah. So it was a very thought-provoking talk by Professor Devesh Sinha. and he believes and supports the basics as well as fundamentals. At the same time, he instigates the innovation and new thinking, and he has given a lot of new thoughts for the young generations to work upon. And this type of lecture is also very much needed. Why? Because not only the basics and fundamentals we have to work upon, and the new innovations and new thoughts and thought-provoking talk. It is nice, and I appreciate. And my congratulations to you, Professor.
Okay.
Yeah, Professor Sinha, thank you so much for conveying the intricacies and the interpretations of evolution in such simple words. Because, yeah, we all understand evolution is a very intricate process, and that is what confuses the students a lot. And you have put it very simply and very nicely. Thank you.
I think
Yeah,
Mishra sir
well-
wants to say something. Yes, sir.
Congratulations to Dr. Sinha. Very interesting, and specifically, he has succeeded in provoking the younger minds. That is more required. Congratulations once again to Dr. Thank you.
With sir,
Devesh,
Yes, sir.
Nigam sir wants to say something. Yes, sir.
you said that the environment affect the species, or sometimes species affect the environment. It's something like that in the modern world. First, we are telling that we are affecting the environment by bringing more carbon dioxide, bring more CFCs into the atmosphere. And then we are worried about it, that climate is changing and we will be extinct. Okay, it's both way, right? Another way of looking to it is that why to worry so much? Think about the time of dinosaurs. Okay, a dinosaur is standing on a hillock and telling to the younger dinosaurs,
Am I audible?
we have overgrown in size, we have eaten everything. Now probably the climate is changing because of our efforts, or our nonsense and being too selfish to grow our population. And the time may come, the life may come to the end on this planet, and worried. But probably his thinking must be not required, because if he was not extinct, probably we were not on this planet. Throughout the geological history, every evolution brought a better developed species. So why we think that we are the last? Who knows tomorrow, if we became extinct either because of natural changes or because of changes induced by us, as the dinosaurs were thinking, a better species will come. Whether we should be doing overthinking about our role in climate change, that's what I want to know.
Yeah, I never said that we will become extinct. It is the geological time scale which has showed that over the time, even you reach acme of your development, you become extinct. There may not be any environmental cause. And extinction is why many paleontologists and biologists, they are considered to be intrinsic property of the species itself, without giving any attribution to the ambience. You are correct that the Earth has a design, and we have to understand that design. And what I think that I never worry about, because I consider this as a natural behavior of human being, that to create nuisance and then to talk about nuisance. You go to Antarctica, established Gangotri, Yamunotri, all sort of stations, and after 10 years you will find there is a research paper, the impact of Antarctic station on the climate of Antarctica.
Yes, agreed.
We have to do it because this is our bread and butter. And this is how we survive. This is how how the talk is there. Talk is generating a lot of carbon dioxide, but we have to do it. The only thing which worries me, because now I am aged, is the youngsters who have to live for 60, 70 years, that they should take care of their health, taking lessons from the organic evolution, particularly the ontogenic.
Okay. I think, sir, after this, we are going to have Dr. Hussain speaking about the week-long events, and then we are going to announce the prizes of yesterday's competition. But before that, sir, I have one question for you. Do you believe, like, if you look at human evolution, humans were first shorter, they attained a height, and there is research which is saying that because of climate change or whatever, the human height, average human height all across the globe is reducing. Do you believe that evolution is unidirectional, or it can return to being?
See, number one is that what you said, the apes or our ancestors, they were short height. It is not actually correct. If you look at the data, after the evolution of Pithecanthropus erectus, the erectus actually started this height business. Because many of the monkeys, even you can't know the height unless and until they become erectus.
Hold them
straightforward. So we don't have very authentic data about that the average height of humans are decreasing. It varies from countries to countries, and most of the time it is based on nutrition. If you look at the anthropology department, they have made studies on that in many countries, say Japan, the height is growing. Japanese used to be very short-heighted earlier, but now that in Japan also the height is growing. So I cannot say that at this age, we have this enough data to say that we are going back to a shorter. It's still very immature.
Okay. Okay. So with your kind permission, can I invite Dr. Hussain, Professor Hussain? Professor Hussain, can I please request you to, because this is the valedictory function, I request Professor Hussain to please summarize the events of the different chapters which under the aegis of Paleontological Society of India has conducted different events across the country. So can I request Professor Hussain to give a small gist of the events that happened throughout the country?
Yeah, thank you, Dr. Rajini. Respected senior professors, Dr. V.P. Mishra, Dr. Rajiv Nigam, Professor Devesh Sinha, Dr. Kale, Dr. Kantimati, Madam, and the tender brains, the younger students, scholars. A very good afternoon to all of you, and happy Navratri and happy Vijayadashami Dasara wishes to you all. And I'm happy to just summarize the various events that are being held throughout the country on the eve of International Fossil Day that is being organized at different centers throughout the country under the aegis of the Paleontological Society of India, Lucknow, starting from that is the events started, the event commenced on 16th of October and till today, a week-long program that are being held from North India, Delhi, and East Bhubaneswar, IIT Bhubaneswar, and on the West, NIO Goa, and on the South, Madras University, and different places in Central India, Nagpur, and the IIT, Mumbai, and also the Pune chapter. Different places, these events are being held by way of eminent speakers, lectures, and the arrangement of the quiz program. And also they have arranged yesterday we had a very nice program at Dr. Rajani. She has organized my experience at field locality. Some of the youngsters, young students, they have given a presentation of their visit to different fossil locality, and they have shared their experience. And to start with, on 16th at IIT Bhubaneswar, under the guidance of Dr. Rajkumar Singh, and he has organized one-day fossil program and the exhibition for the school children. And on 17th, DSIP Lucknow, under the guidance of Dr. Biswajit and Dr. Anju Saxena, And on the same day, actually this Dibrugarh University, Northeast Assam, under the guidance of Dr. Kalpana Dekha, they have organized this events, 5-day event they have organized in the form of quiz, lectures by the eminent scientists by Ashok Sani, Dr. Rajiv Nigam, Dr. Sudhir Shukla, and they have organized this program. And also on 18th, NIO Goa, they have conducted a field excursion for the college students at the beach, and Dr. Teja Sino, she has organized, and then at Sagar, HS Gauri University Sagar, and at BHU and Allahabad, together they have organized this program online. This time both online as well as offline, by both the modes they have organized, and it is very interesting. And Dr. Kathal has coordinated this program. And here we had a very beautiful lectures, interesting lectures by Dr. Rajiv Nigam, Sudhir Shukla, and Mukund Sharma. And at Chennai also we have organized the International Fossil Day program. We have invited GSI scientists and also the ONGC scientists, and the school children also, they have participated. They have visited the museum, and we have conducted the geo quiz program, fossil quiz program. And in the valedictory, one of the teachers, school teachers said, sir, so much information is there about fossils, we were not aware of it. And hereafter, we would like to take our students to nearby Sri Peramadur Cretaceous beds and other thing. So he was excited by listening to the talks and other thing. And then on 20th, yesterday, and at Dibrugarh also, and at Bihar University, Gaya University, Bihar, Dr. Milan Kumar, they have organized a program. And yesterday also, Dr. Rajini, she has conducted a beautiful, it was really very interesting. Some of the youngsters, they have given their experiences, field experiences. They have visited a couple of field localities, and they have shared by way of presentation. That is an innovative way of doing things, and bringing the youngsters to present their experience, to share their experiences with the seniors. And also today at Nagpur, under the guidance of Dr. Humane, they are conducting the International Fossil Day program. And now this is the end of the Nagpur Mumbai Pune chapter. They are organizing under Dr. Rajini Pancham. She is organizing this. This is the very thought-provoking talk given by the Professor Devesh Sinha, and she has invited a very apt person. So he instigates and he creates very innovative and thoughts among the youngsters. And this is the program that is being held. So I wish to say that in the entire country, International Fossil Day program is being organized in the North India to South India, the East India to West India, and also Central India, Northeast India also. So this time, a big popularization and of the fossils, this type of program is being organized under the aegis of Paleontological Society of India. Dr. Sudhir Shukla also, he has coordinated at several places. And in this regard, I profusely thank Professor M.P. Singh, President of the Paleontological Society of India, the Secretary, Dr. V.P. Mishra, and other senior, Dr. Rajiv Nigam, and Dr. Anand Kale, Professor Devesh Sinha, and the youngsters, Dr. Ashutosh Singh, Dr. Rajkumar Singh, and the others. I'm sorry if I left any name, not by intention. And everybody has came forward, as they have come forward, and they have organized the International Fossil Day in a very beautiful manner in different ways. Some have conducted the lectures, invited talks by the eminent scientists, and some they have conducted a quiz, some they have taken to the field, some they have invited the students to visit their museum, fossils, rocks, and other minerals and other things. And like that, these type of events are very much attracted by the youngsters, not only the school children and also the undergraduate students and the research scholars, but also some laymen, the local people also being attracted towards how the fossils are helpful and what geology means. So these days, by conducting this type of International Fossil Day, and the significance and the importance of the fossils is being widely spread throughout the country. And I appreciate all the coordinators of North Chapter, South Chapter, Central Mumbai, Pune Chapter, and the Eastern Chapter, and the Western Chapter, and all these people. And Dr. Vikram Pratap Singh is also here. And so all these people, they have contributed, they have coordinated, they have conducted enthusiastically. So I appreciate each and every one of you for conducting this International Fossil Day in order to popularize the role of the significance of the fossils. And this type of activity is very much needed. And every year we need to conduct this. Still enthusiasm with a lot of courage and a lot of support from the Parental Society, from other seniors and other guidance. Thank you so much, Dr. Rajini, for having given me this opportunity, and wish you all once again a happy Navratri and a happy Dasara holidays to all of you.
Thank you, Hussain sir. I thank you for summarizing it, holistically. With no further ado, I think people are waiting for the results of yesterday's event. Our chapter had organized, we invited, because we wanted involvement of the students, and that's why we invited students to make PowerPoint presentations about their, maybe in a way of a memoir, memoir presentations about their visit to field localities. We had 15 people enrolled from Deccan College, Pune, Aligarh Muslim University, Hari Singh Gaud University, ISER Pune, Ferguson College, St. Xavier's, Deccan College, Baba Saheb Ambedkar University, Lucknow. And out of that, it was judged on the basis of content, presentation skills, the photographs, and the enthusiasm with which they presented. So given all this, this event was judged by 4 people, that is Professor V.P. Mishra, Dr. Rajiv Nigam, Dr. S.M. Hussain, and Dr. Kantimati Kulkarni. So each of them was scored for about 100 marks. And so we decided, because Ashwatha she gave a very nice presentation about her fossil encounters in about 4 states that she has been working in. But we decided, and we already had told her, that she has been working in this field for almost more than 10 years. And that's why we decided that she is beyond grading. So we expressed a special mention for her achievements and her work. The others who were judged out of that, because there were very few, and most of the people who made presentations were either graduate or postgraduate students. So I will be announcing the top 3 students whom will be sending certificates of merits and small cash prizes. The first, we go in the reverse order. The person who secured the 3rd position scored 292 marks out of 400. That is Ashra Sheikh, who is a postgraduate student from St. Xavier's College, Bombay. She spoke about the Fulra limestone, or the Fulra formation, which is her favorite formation from the Kutch Basin. The second prize goes to someone who had 318 marks out of 400, 318. That is Tanya Singh, a postgraduate student from Ferguson College, Pune. She presented her work on her master's thesis, which she did in the Cretaceous of South India, especially the Arielur. And the person who came first, any guesses? I think this was unanimous. She scored 340 on 400. She is Devyani Zambure from ISER Pune, who did her master's work at BSIP, and she presented her work or her interest in stromatolites from Central India or Madhya Pradesh. I request all the 3 who are here to please open their screens. Devyani, Tanya, Ashra, Anshara.
Hello, ma'am.
Hello, Tanya. Hello. Devyanshi, congratulations, all the 3 of you. Thank you for participating. And thank you for making this successful. Thank you, Ashwata. Yes. Okay. So your prizes will reach you. With this, I come to the end, the concluding part, which is the vote of thanks. Thank you, everyone, for being there. But the formal vote of thanks, this event and this valedictory function has been made special by the participation and the consent of our speaker, Professor Devesh Sinha. Thank you, sir, for always being innovative about what you deliver to students, not just how you present it, but also about what topic you can choose so that which will find interest amongst the students and find relevance amongst the students. Thank you so much, sir, for agreeing to come and spare your Saturday with us and spend your last 2 hours, almost 2 to 2.5 hours with us. A special thank you to my guru, Dr. Rajiv Nigam, and my teacher, Dr. Rajshekhar, for being here today, for encouraging me for doing what I am doing today. Thank you so much, sir. My senior colleagues, Dr. Anand Kare, Dr. Ajit Vartak, Kantimati ma'am, Vanzar Vadkar sir, for being here, for participating in today's event and encouraging all the youngsters to also be a part of this event. I must place on record the encouragement and the support of the Executive Committee of the Paleontological Society of India, President Professor MP Singh, VP Mishra sir, who's the Secretary, Vice President Professor Hussain, and Professor Sudhir Shukla. Thank you so much for supporting all the events of all the chapters. I also thank all my dear friends and colleagues who were here today, that is Dr. Raj Singh, Dr. Momita Das, Anish Soman, Dr. Kirti, Dr. Vikram, Dr. Ashutosh, Dr. Ankush Srivastav, Dr. Tushar, who also came and left, Dr. Kapisa Loko from Wadia Institute, Biswajit Dr. Biswajit Thakur, Kiran Kumbhar from Wadia Institute. It would not have been possible without the cooperation and support from the teachers and heads of St. Xavier's College, Mumbai, Dr. Samant, Dr. Praveen Hendricks, Shyam Mode sir, and other colleagues from Ferguson College, Pune, Wadia College, Pune, ISER, Pune, BSIP, Lucknow, Deccan College, and all the other people who spread the news in their colleges amongst their student group. We had almost, I think, 65 participants that I saw, maybe some on YouTube. Thank you so much for making it a big success. Help and encouragement and support is due to the founder of the Paleontological Society of India, Pune, Mumbai chapter, that is our former Vice Chancellor and my teacher, Dr. Professor Nitin Karmalkar. He started this event, this movement in Pune, and I'm very grateful to him. Support from my current Vice Chancellor, Professor Suresh Gosavi, and our current head, Dr. Raymond Doraiswamy, is also put on record. Without them, we would not have been able to spare this time for this event. Thanks is due to my team of students and my two dear friends, Dr. Shweta Patil from St. Xavier's College and Dr. Amruta Paranspe from Emerson's, and of course my students, Mugdha, Omkar, Khushi, Saurashri, for coordinating these events and working with me shoulder to shoulder. Thank you so much for helping me make this event. Despite this time we had an inertia about having any event. This was all planned last minute. Thank you so much for making this possible. Thank you for making it. This, I will share the link. This entire event of today is available on Paleontological Society of India YouTube channel. I will share the link with all of you. Thank you so much.
Give big hand to Rajni and her team.
Thank you so much, sir. Sir, thank you to all of you. This wouldn't have been possible without all your presence and participation. Do any, though this is ended, does Anshara, Devyani, do you all want to say something? Anshara, do you want to say something?
Hello, ma'am. Hello, sir.
Yes.
Yeah, it was first time presenting, as I told yesterday. I did not expect something like this will come up today. I'll be like, so it was very good. And I'm looking forward to such more competitions even more now.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you. Yes. Okay. I think the others have left. So